Hey guys, so I'm trying to figure out where to film my update this week because we finally got the approval and made the decision on a color for the nursery, and you can see the color a bit. It's really odd. The different lighting makes it kind of look like a different color everywhere you go. But the color is called Antique Coral, and in order to paint the nursery, we had to pretty much take everything out of the nursery. We left the crib because it has wheels on it, so it was easy to move around the room while my husband painted. But everything else got moved out and into the spare room. And we're not finished because we need to buy another can of paint to do another coat. And then my husband goes out of town for a week. So I'm here with like tape around the windows and plastic on the floor, and it just makes me feel really uneasy. Like the nursery's in shambles, and if I go into labor right now or something were to happen, she wouldn't have a room. And it's I just want to come in here and clean the whole room all over again and sanitize everything and rewash everything and put it back together, but I can't. I have to wait till next weekend. So I'm gonna try to find a place with some good lighting where I can set my phone down and film my 29-week update for you guys. Hey guys, so it is Sunday, April 24th, 2016, and I am 29 weeks and 3 days pregnant. On Friday, I had my prenatal appointment. I've been doing those every 2 weeks. I talked about that a little bit in the last video, and things did not go the way that I had ever thought that they would go. All of my appointments have been really well. Good news, good vibes, just, you know, boring almost. I mean, I go in, they check my urine, they weigh me, the doctor comes in, we chit chat for a few minutes, and I go home. You know, I ask any questions that I have, or they you know, ask me questions like how I'm feeling, and usually I'm feeling fine, just having pregnancy symptoms. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that my husband went out of town. He went out of town on Wednesday, I think it was, last week. So, and he's supposed to be out of town until Wednesday of this coming week. So a full week he was going to be gone, and I'm fine with that. I'm used to him being gone and away. So I go to my prenatal appointment alone, and I had like a day planned with a friend from work. We were gonna go shopping and we were gonna go out to eat, and I got all dressed up, and I go to my appointment, and my blood pressure is, they were concerned because I have a family history of high blood pressure. And then when I was a teenager, I had some issues with my blood pressure, and I was briefly on some blood pressure medications, and I only took those for a short while, and then I didn't need them anymore. But so it was a concern from the very beginning that I would either have high blood pressure while I was pregnant or develop, you know, preeclampsia. So they were, from the beginning, they've been cautious. And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned the whole thing about wanting to see a midwife and be with a midwife, but they didn't want me to be a midwife, be with a midwife because I could be high risk potentially. They eventually categorized me as borderline high risk and have let me see a midwife like pretty much since the beginning of my pregnancy. But always in the back of my head, knowing that if anything were to happen, if anything were to go wrong, I would have to go back to the regular OB. Anyway, so I go to my appointment, and every time I've gone, my blood pressure has always been very decent. I personally run in the upper 120s to low 130s as my top number. My bottom number is always really good. My top number just kind of fluctuates between the 120s, 130s. And I work in a hospital, and I check my blood pressure every single day, and it's always in that range. So for me, I feel that is a normal range. When I went to the appointment, my blood pressure was like 132/80 or 88, something like that. And so as soon as the midwife came in the room, she was kind of like on my case about my blood pressure and getting me kind of worked up and upset, because in my mind, it was, okay, so if she thinks my blood pressure is a concern and they think it's going to be an issue, I know the next words that are going to come out of her mouth are that she can't be my doctor anymore. And then they're going to start treating me like I'm sick and I have a problem, and I'm not going to get that natural labor and delivery that I wanted, and it's just I started to panic and I started to freak out a little bit. So after working me up and going on and on about my family history and yada, yada, yada. She decides that that's a good time to check my blood pressure again. And of course, it was a little bit higher. It was closer to 150. And she looks at me and says, well, I want you to go to the hospital. I want you to go to labor and delivery triage and have them evaluate you for preeclampsia. She then goes on to ask me a whole list of questions, like a checklist for preeclampsia. And I answer no to every single one of these questions. I have no swelling, no edema anywhere, my face, my feet, my hands, nothing. I'm having no upper right quadrant pain. I haven't rapidly gained any weight in X amount of days. No headaches, no seeing spots. And as far as I know, my blood pressure has always been in that 120, 130 range because I check it every day. So even though I answered no to every single thing on this checklist, she still sends me to the hospital, which in turn really upsets me. And I don't have a lot of control over my emotions right now being pregnant. So I'm crying, I'm hysterical. My husband's out of town, I have no family, I have no one. I have a dog at home that I have no one to take care of for me. And, you know, I felt like it was a very, very unnecessary situation that I was put into. Of course, I want my doctor to be concerned about me and my baby and cautious, but I don't think that one abnormal blood pressure reading constitutes such a intense situation where she upset me to a point that was unnecessary. So I come home, I pack a bag, make sure my dog has plenty of food and water. I go to the birthplace triage. They make me, you know, put on a gown, and I have a bracelet, and I'm getting blood work done, and they hook me up to the I'm not even sure what it's called, but when you're in labor, it's to track the heartbeat and the contractions and everything, and it spits out the paper. I don't know what those are called, but if you've had a baby or you're familiar with it, you probably know what it is. But anyway, they have me all hooked up to all these machines, and they're checking my blood pressure every 15 minutes, and they asked me the exact same questions I was asked in the office. All the same questions, and I answered no to every single one of them. And the nurse is just kind of like, I don't understand why you're here, you know? And my blood pressures were great for like almost 2 hours straight. They monitored my blood pressure every 15 minutes, and it was in the 120s over 70s and 80s every single time. All my blood work came back perfect, normal, healthy. Urine came back with no protein in it. So they're like, go home, you're fine. And it was just a completely unnecessary situation I felt like I was put into. And on top of that, my doctor, or the midwife, said that I need to be on bed rest, that I have to take the entire weekend off of work and not be on like restricted bed rest, but I basically just have to stay in my house and not clean or, you know, do anything strenuous, and I absolutely cannot work, is what she said. And then I need to come back and see her on Monday. I feel like if I have a blood pressure issue, it's because of this entire situation, not because of anything prior to Friday when I went to my appointment. It's just so stressful to me. And I feel like even the thought of going and seeing her again, or going to that office and having to hear the way that the way that she speaks to me makes me like tense and gets me upset. So I'm like, there's no way I can go in there on Monday and be totally cool with her and relaxed and not have a high number again. And so I know what this is going to lead to. I know what this entire conversation is going to be about. She's just going to be telling me, wasting my time, telling me that I can't see her anymore and that I need to see the OB, etc., etc. So I am still debating on whether or not I even want to go see her. I'm debating on whether I'm just going to call tomorrow on my lunch break and schedule an appointment with the OB and kind of have the same conversation that I just had with you with him and go from there. Because it felt completely unnecessary, and it made me very uncomfortable and very upset, and caused me to miss 3 days of work, I think unnecessarily. And I feel fine. I felt fine when I went there. I felt fine when I left physically, you know, so I don't know. But that's how my 29-week appointment went. So as far as the previous 2 weeks prior to my appointment, since the last appointment I went to, things have been going pretty well. Still not a ton of complaints. I'm noticing more emotional, hormonal mood swings than I ever have in the entire pregnancy. When I was struggling with like the whole depression and anxiety thing, that was essentially my only emotion, was just sad. And now I'm getting all of them. It's like I'm PMSing all the time now. Anger, tears, happiness, you know, so I am just learning how, me and my husband both are learning how to deal with that. Heartburn has been intense. It's been so intense. I have probably like a list, you know, a mile long of the things that I can no longer eat or drink. And I have been living off of the liquid Maalox, Rolaids, Tums. It's just been horrible. Some days are great and I can eat something that typically would give me heartburn and nothing happens. And then other days it's like I'll have a bagel and I spend hours in excruciating pain. Like it's almost like you can't tell what's going to trigger it, but you know certain things are definitely going to trigger it. Like I've never been more scared of orange juice in my life. It's just, the heartburn is insane. Second major symptom, and I think I hate this one even more than I hate the heartburn, is shortness of breath. I think 2 weeks ago when I made my last update, I probably filmed like a 30-minute video and edited it all the way down to like 9 or 10 minutes, I think it was. And that was all just me editing out clips of me just breathing and breathing and trying to catch my breath, because I get so out of breath, especially when I'm sitting. Like I'm sitting right here and my stomach is pressing on my lungs. I'm talking and it's just, I can't breathe. It's so horrible. And when I eat and my stomach gets full, I'm just gasping for air. I mean, I get panicky. I get really concerned, like panicky, because I'm like, I can't breathe. Like I can't get the air in my lungs and get it back out. It's just so frustrating and so like it makes me panic. Like I'm gonna pass out or something. I can't breathe. And the other scary side to that is that I'm just gonna get bigger. The baby's gonna get so much bigger and my stomach's gonna get so much bigger. And I'm scared that like, if she gets any bigger, I'm just gonna like keel over because I can't breathe. So I mean, I didn't have morning sickness. I haven't had acne. I haven't had a ton of back pain or breast pain, or, you know, I feel like I've had like this really excellent pregnancy compared to so many other people that I've observed being pregnant with updates and family members. And I'm just like, don't complain, Ashley, don't complain. You're doing great. This is my number one least favorite symptom, is a shortness of breath. Like I'll take heartburn all day because I can take something to relieve the heartburn, but there's nothing that fixes the shortness of breath. It's just when it happens, I have to stay as calm as possible and try to work through it and try to breathe normal again. So as far as baby goes, she seems to be doing great. At the appointment, we did listen to her heartbeat, and then of course I had like almost 2 hours straight of listening to her on a little monitor, and that was very relaxing. And I think that also attributed to my excellent blood pressure numbers when I was there. But her heartbeat is good and strong. Are getting so much more intense and so much more strong. I can actually lay in bed now, kind of like prop myself up, and I can see her moving around in there, kicking and just being crazy in there. I'm feeling her hiccups now down by my pubic bone, like down in that area, and that's a really good indicator that she is head down. So I really think she is head down, because that's where her hiccups are, and then her kicks are up here higher in my stomach. So she's kicking around, she's acting crazy, and, you know, I know she's there all day, you know. So, and I'm measuring right on track. They measure me every time I go to the appointment. I'm measuring completely normal, and like I said, other than that little scare that I think was completely unnecessary, everything is still going really great as far as like health-wise in my pregnancy. So I'm really happy about that, and hopefully things continue right on that track. As far as the next 2 weeks, I don't know. If I end up going to see the midwife on Monday, I will, of course, do maybe a quick update about that appointment if I do meet with her. If I can get myself to just calm down, relax, just be nonchalant about it and just say, just let it happen, I feel like I can go to that appointment and not like lose my mind. If I don't feel like I can do that, then like I said earlier, I will try to make an appointment with the OB and just, make a clean break, rip the Band-Aid off, just go to the OB and see him and discuss my birthing plan with him and see if he's on board with it. Because to me, that's like the most important thing, is that they are, supportive of what I want. I really, really hate being a patient. I work in a hospital and I love helping people and I love being in a hospital as an employee, but as a patient, it is like the ultimate anxiety for me. If I can speak to the OB again and see that he's on the same page as me, then I will be more than happy with switching back over to him. So I'll keep you updated on that. And, if not, then I'll be 31 weeks when I go to my next prenatal appointment. So you'll know by then at least. I thank you guys for tuning in again this week. Everyone's comments are always so great and supportive, and I am very appreciative of that. I accept as much positivity as I can all the time. And if you guys have any questions or you want me to talk about something different in my update videos, I don't really have a plan for these. I just kind of sit down and go. And so if there are specific things that you would like to know about me or baby or the nursery or my delivery or anything, don't hesitate to ask, because I am more than happy to include that in my videos. And if there's any other things that you'd like to see, like maybe some of my most recent baby buys, whatever, let me know down below, and I will see you guys next time.